which metrics really matter? To answer this question, let's look at the projects as the model. The project is the way of transforming the users into revenue. That's right? That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Here is how the business works. It doesn't matter whether I'm talking about game or about something, some different businesses. Here are the metrics that matter. The cost for acquisition of your users, the incoming flow, the paying share, what is the percentage of users became payers, and the revenue per paying user. So the easiest way to increase the revenue is to increase the number of new users, or to decrease the cost per acquisition, or to increase the paying share and average revenue per paying user. If we know the value of these metrics, we can calculate nearly all of the rest of the metrics. These metrics are really important, and it's very simple to work. For example, in some startup accelerators, they ask only the values of this metric, and based on the values of these metrics, they made a decision whether the startup is effective or not, efficient or not. They do not even try to understand what is the business about, whether it's game, it's a taxi service, or something else. Here's the model. First of all, you need to spend some marketing cost. It will bring the new users. Some of the users will pay. RPPU is the amount they will pay, and you can see the final revenue. And if you multiply the user acquisition by average revenue per user, you can get the revenue. And to calculate the profit, you can subtract the cost per acquisition. It's really very simple. And now, let's also explore these three metrics. Well, to be honest, it's not metrics, it's like the features of the service. If we are talking about these metrics, it doesn't matter for us which business we are talking about. But if we are talking about these metrics, it matters. It matters for whether we are talking about games or some services. We also know what is retention and how to measure the virality. But what is activation? Well, the activation is not the metric. It's like the feature. It's something abstract. Usually, the user is active when he can see, when he can find the value of using your project, of using your service. I will show it to you on the examples. And so the easiest way to activate users is to make the ideal first session for the users, is to teach the users how to use your project, is to show the advantages of your project. So now we will talk about first-time user experience. Here you can find the usual plot of the retention. As I said, for freemium projects, the long-term retention is the key for the successful monetization of the projects. The longer the users are with you, the higher the chance they will pay, and the higher the amounts they will pay. The easiest way to optimize the long-term user experience, long-term retention, is to optimize the short-term retention. And the easiest way to optimize the short-term retention is to optimize their first session. Users will not come to you first time twice. You have only one chance to show your advantages to your users. In most of free-to-play games, 20% of users leave the game forever during the first 2 or 3 minutes. So you have only 2 or 3 minutes to show the advantages of your application, of your project to the users. Here's an example. How can we achieve it? Well, modern analytical systems, such as devtodev, allow you to select the users who is the most active for your projects. For example, the whales who spend a lot of money, or the users who visit your application the most frequently, like 10 times a day or more. You can select it to the separate segments, and you can calculate the metric values for such users. And moreover, devtodev allows you to explore the past of these users. You can track their first session, and you can try to find which events did they perform, what did they do during the first session, where are the reasons that they became most active. After that, you can compare, you can do the same for the rest of the users, for non-activated visitors. And if there are some events which were performed by the most active users, but were not performed by the rest of the users, it means that the key of activation is somewhere here. And so later you can make these steps obligatory, and it will increase your chance to activate the users, to activate and to increase all the following metrics. I hope you know this band. It's the aha. My recommendation is to try to find the aha moment. The aha moment is the moment when the user understands the value, understands the reasons why a user should use your project, and user says, aha. I'd like to show some examples. For example, for Twitter, they found the aha moment, and they said that the aha moment is reaching the 30 followed users. If user reaches the 30 users, 30 friends, it means that this user will definitely remain active for a long time. For Facebook, they said that their aha moment is reaching the 7 friends during the first 10 days. So if user added 7 friends or more during the first 10 days of using Facebook, it means that user will be active for a long time. So that's why when you register in the Facebook, they offer you to add some friends. They offer to you by email, by telephone numbers, by some parameters. For Dropbox, it's very simple. For Dropbox, the aha moment is the uploading the first file into the cloud. When the user uploads the file, he or she understands the reason of using Dropbox. So try to find the aha moment for your projects. Again, here's the scheme of every business work. Only 4 metrics you need to track: new users, CPA, pay and share, and ARPPU. And only 3 features you need to explore: activation, retention, and virality. All the other metrics can be useful for some hypothesis how to optimize these metrics. Here's the algorithm. It's only mine. I'm not sure that it's universal, but it's the algorithm that I can recommend you. Start optimizing with ARPPU, with the average revenue per paying user. Because if you create some business, it means that you want to share some value with your users, some value with which will some money which will your paying user bring to you. So start optimizing your project with ARPPU. What can be the reasons of low value of ARPPU? Low retention, low value, and lack of need with the purchase. Maybe your project is good, but user cannot pay. Maybe user can get all the advantages of using if he doesn't pay. I will show it to you in the examples. If you are good, if you are glad with your ARPPU, then come to the pay and share. Increase the number of users who will pay the money to you. What are the reasons of low pay and share? It's the problems with the activation, with the first-time user experience, the value failure, or the long funnel. The long funnel, I mean the long payment process. Of course, the payment should be as easier for the user as possible. And if you are glad with your ARPPU and your pay and share, only after that you can scale your project up. You can invite a lot of new users to your projects. So after that, you can work with some channels, with acquisition, with the marketing, and with the virality. And when your project works, when new users are coming to your project, and some of them pay higher amounts, only after that you can optimize your CPA, your cost per acquisition. Here's my algorithm that I offer to you. Activation, retention, and virality. If you have problems with the activation, it means that you have the problems with the first-time user experience. So start with the optimizing of your first-time user experience. Try to understand what do users feel when they open your application for the first time. Retention, how to optimize the retention. There could be some cycles. And the gameplay. If your game is interesting, if user glad to play, user will remain active for you for a long time. And the virality. Do you know what is viral cycle? Well, the viral cycle is the average number of days from the user's registration to the invitation of the friend. So try to optimize your viral cycle. So offer to your new coming user how to invite the friends. It's important. If you show it to the user during the tutorial, it means that you delete the barrier between the user and this action. And also, user should be interested in invitation the friends. In the games, for example, there is a viral mechanics that if user invited some friends, he can get some virtual currency. In the social networks, they viral itself because if user invite the friends, it will be interesting for them to communicate with each other in the social network. And again, the last recommendation, here's the model of the business. And how can we work with the model more efficient? Try to calculate all the metrics, not for the whole set of the users, but for some segments. Try to calculate it for the new users, for existing users, for those who are already active, and for those users who decided to leave you. If you calculate all these metrics for all the 3 segments, you can find a lot of bottlenecks. You can find a lot of places where you can achieve the growth.